and welcome. I am Briana Day, and today I am doing my first ever pregnancy vlog. I'm so excited. I did a poll on my Instagram a couple weeks ago and asked you guys if this is something you'd be interested in watching, and it was like a huge resounding hell to the yes. So I was like, okay, well, what do you guys want me to vlog about exactly? Because there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and you were like, I just want the real tea. Like, tell me what it's really like. I want to know about the symptoms, I want to know about the cravings, I want to know about the good, I want to know about the bad, I want to know about everything. Like, give it to me for real, and tell me the things that people aren't talking about. So, buckle up, Buttercup, because y'all know I am an open book, and I am going to give it to you straight. And I'm also going to disclaim for those that are sensitive to real talk about pregnancy. If you have any like negative feelings towards people sharing negativity about pregnancy and the experience, well then go ahead and, you know, no offense taken if you don't watch. This is probably not the vlog series for you, because I really do want to keep it real, and that's what I'm gonna do. So this is the end of my first trimester, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what's up. They said there'd be a glow. Shit, is that a pimple? So first things first, I'm gonna kind of share our story, our pregnancy story, because I think our story really impacts a lot of, you know, how I've felt in my first trimester, which will all make sense in a second. So I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the blessing that we didn't know we wanted. This is a beautiful surprise to Trav and I. It's really ironic because the week before I found out this news, I literally was talking to Travis because, you know, I was turning 29 and I started to feel that like biological clock ticking and thinking, you know, okay, I don't think I'm ready to be a mom yet, but I definitely don't want to miss that opportunity. So he and I were having like the conversation about timing and when we want to do this, and I was like, okay, you're not ready, I'm not ready, that's fine. Like after the holidays, I'm gonna go to my doctor and like check out my fertility, because transparently I thought I was gonna have a really hard time getting pregnant just for my own girl issues, and you know, I just wanted to make sure, like, do I need to freeze some eggs, make sure when I'm ready that it's gonna work for us, like all of those things. That was literally my thought process. And then a week later, I am feeling really funky. I thought it was PMS, and then one night I like woke up in the middle of the night because my boobs hurt so bad, and it's just like next level, like whoa, like this is like ouch, weird. And then I was exhausted and tired and just felt off, like something was not normal. And so I, you know, of course go to Google, like what's wrong with me, and everything was pointing towards pregnancy. I was like, there's no way. So I'm just gonna grab this pregnancy test so that I'm not like, I can just wipe that possibility off the table. And I'm at my office, like at work, like that's how much I don't think it's gonna be a positive pregnancy test. And I go into the office bathroom and I take the first test and I'm like, is that 2 lines? Like, what? And I'm like, there's no, this is faulty. So I go back, I take another one, they're both kind of have like this faint line. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no freaking way. And I remember just being like, just processing it all, like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. Like, this is happening, I'm pregnant. And I was immediately excited, but just, I think, in denial. And so I left the office, I buy 3 more tests, and this time I get the digital ones. It's like, pregnant, not pregnant. Like, I'm not playing with your lines anymore. This stuff is confusing. I don't know how to, like, am I reading this wrong? I don't know. Take the test. I'm like literally in a public bathroom waiting for my lunch order. I can't wait because I'm so anxious, and I'm in this bathroom and I take this test and there it is, pregnant. And I just was like, oh my god. And I am emotional, I'm like crying, I'm excited, I'm overjoyed. Like, that's why I say it's like the blessing I didn't know I wanted, because a week ago was like, okay, we're gonna wait and it's fine, but the minute I found out, I was just like, all of that just didn't matter anymore. Like, I'm gonna be a mom. So that was how I found out. It was a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
And Travis and I were talking about taking Christmas pictures with our dogs for a 2nd year. So I immediately picked up the phone, called my girl Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla. Called her. I was like, hey, Sunday, we were taking Christmas pictures, but one other thing. I'm gonna tell my husband that he's gonna be a dad.
Yes. You're gonna model so good.
So good.
You're so handsome.
Thanks.
Will you be my baby daddy?
Huh?
Will you be my baby daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you get me for Christmas?
You might just have to find out.
And she was of course on board with the surprise, so I it was the longest week of my life, and I just remember laying in bed and seeing him asleep. I couldn't sleep because I was so excited, and I'm like looking at him sleeping. It's kind of creepy. I'm like looking at Travis just passed out, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. Like in the dark, just like I wanted to say it to him so bad without him knowing. Anyway, so I was holding it into myself all week. Sunday rolls around. The surprise is epic.
Dude, for real? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
His reaction was just the sweetest thing, and I'm just so glad that I documented it the way that I did. Like, if you can hold it in and make it a special memory for your man, I really think you should. It's different. I think it's different if you both are trying and you're like excited, but because we weren't, I was just like, how can I make this as climactic and special and iconic and memorable as possible? And I think that I did, and it was so hard to keep to myself, but it was so worth it, because not only did he find out in a really special way, but like we get to cherish those visuals forever. We've got the video, we've got the pictures, and it was just a really exciting way to like come to this realization that we're gonna be parents. So all that to be said, I found out about 4 weeks in, so which is pretty early for most people, but I think I'm just really in tune with my body, because like I said, I started to feel different and I just knew something was off. I'm like a really go kind of girl, so when things start to like go downhill, I'm usually quick to be like, let me kick this in the butt before it turns into something worse. So Travis found out the news like 4 weeks in. The next week was my 29th birthday, which was week 5 of the pregnancy. And I'll never forget it, because on my 29th birthday, I had plans with my friends that I had made like 3 weeks ago. Before I found out this news, I learned the hard way, like, hey, my birthday's during the holidays, like you gotta plan your birthday in advance. Otherwise, people have a dozen other events they have to go to, and you're getting the short end of the stick. So I had like a 9 p.m. dinner reservation because we wanted to be out and turn up afterwards. That's not in the cards when you're 5 weeks pregnant, let me tell you right now. I was so tired. I usually, like, I started going to bed by 8 o'clock. I was so tired. Like 9 p.m. dinner, what am I thinking? But that was like my life before. My life has already changed so much, oh my gosh. So I'm like literally got my hair and makeup done on my birthday, sleeping in the bed until it's time to go. I like just got up, put on my dress, we go to dinner. It's like 9:30, we're eating. I start feeling so sick, and I hadn't really announced it to all of my friends yet. Like, I wasn't afraid to tell them. I just wasn't ready to like be like open and celebratory about it, because I was still wrapping my head around it. It was so new. I was kind of doing the research, like they say you're not supposed to tell people, and I was still trying to figure out why. So I was really hush about it, and I knew my friends knew I wasn't being myself, and everybody's starting to talk about like, okay, like shots after this, we're gonna go upstairs, we're gonna turn up, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna throw up. Like, I'm literally thinking I'm getting sick. I'm like, I thought morning sickness was a morning thing. It's like 10 o'clock at night, what's happening? And my 29th birthday was the first night that my morning sickness kicked in, and I got sick in the restaurant bathroom right after dinner. I couldn't eat chicken for weeks. You know, like when you get sick on something and you like can't eat it for a while? Couldn't do chicken. And I just was like, I felt so bad because my friends like could have been probably a dozen other places that night, and I just was like kind of quietly starting to tell people, but I didn't want it to be like a big to-do. So I was like, hey, I know you can tell I'm not really being myself, and the reason why is I'm pregnant. And it was exciting, but I was like, just let's not make a big deal about it yet, because again, it just was still so new and I just didn't know. So all that to be said, I did not make it to my own birthday turn up that night. I was like, I love you guys. I'm so thankful that you guys came, but like, I gotta tap out. Like, I'm not in a good place. Like, I am sick. I am done. Like, no bueno. And that was the start of really like the hardest 4 weeks probably of my life, which sounds pretty dramatic, but I'm like for real. I'm the first of my group of friends to go through, like close group of friends to go through pregnancy, so I didn't really have anything to compare it to, but from what I've like heard and watched and seen and talked to people about, like I dare say that I had probably like on the rougher end of the spectrum in terms of first trimester symptoms. The morning sickness, vomiting multiple times a day, aversions to foods that I used to love. Like I told you I got sick on chicken, couldn't eat chicken for forever, so I was eating like all red meat and like beef and pork because I couldn't handle chicken and even fish, like just the like until one night I got sick off of the smell of raw beef being cooked. Like just thinking about it takes me back. Like I just couldn't, and I remember getting emotional and crying over the fact that I got sick over the beef because we were making beef tacos, and I was like, I love beef tacos. Like what's happening, you know? And I couldn't even be around the smell of them, like let alone eat them. So it was just like, what is going on? And then to throw on top, so when you get pregnant, your immune system is like shot. And at first I was like, why would that happen? Like the last thing you want is your immune system to be weak when you're like growing a human. But turns out your body does that. It like lowers your immune system so that your body doesn't fight off your baby, because your baby is like a foreign body. So if your immune system didn't weaken, it would like reject your child. That's just crazy to me. So you're way more susceptible to getting sick. And I did. And so for like week 6, not only was I like nauseous and exhausted, but I also like was stopped up, snotty. My nose was like raw from sneezing and like blowing my nose all the time. And I would like literally, I told Travis, I was like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. You like when you're throwing up and your nose is stopped up and running at the same time, it's like you're literally, you can't breathe, you can't catch your breath, you're like drowning in snot and puke at the same freaking time. Like this is miserable. Add to that, like you don't feel sexy, you feel bloated, you're like, I was like gassy. I mean, I was really getting like all of the things that they say that you might get. Like it was all hitting me, and I was just like, this is horrible. This is not fun at all. Like they said that there would be a glow. There'd be a glow, they said. Like what is happening to my life? I don't feel like myself. I literally physically could not get enough sleep. I like would take naps at work, and I was so unmotivated and uninspired with my job. So you've got like the symptomatic things that are weird, but then you've got this like, but what's wrong with me? Like my passion, like I love my job, I love what I do, you know, my energy and my passion towards my husband. Like I just had nothing to give anyone. I was on total survival mode. So I think symptomatically I was in a bad place, but then emotionally and mentally I started getting in a really, really bad place. And that week 5 through 9, like I definitely think I got depressed. And I wanted to be honest about it because, you know, I think we as women feel, at least I did, I felt guilty for being depressed, because I know that there's so many women who would kill to be, you know, in this position, to be having a baby, and will never be able to or know what that feels like, or they will, but they're really struggling and would resent to hear you complain or be negative about something that they just hope and pray for day and night. And the reality is, yes, it's a blessing and you're grateful to be able to do this, but that doesn't mean you don't feel the way that you feel. And it's scary to not feel like yourself, to just feel like completely out of control of yourself, your mind, your body, your soul even. Like it might sound dramatic, but I, you know, being that I wasn't planning this pregnancy, I really wasn't mentally prepared. And I think that's why that surprise element to our news is super important, because you don't know what to expect. And even if you do all the research, you don't know what it's going to feel like until you're going through it. And being somebody that was still like super 2,000 miles an hour, you know, focused on their career, having fun with their husband, having fun with friends, like not mentally prepared for this lifestyle change that's about to happen, and for it to immediately smack you in the face, it was a tough pill for me to have to swallow suddenly. And I really resented that I was feeling this way. I was mad at myself for it because I knew how insensitive that was towards the people that would love to be in that position. But the reality is, I know I'm not alone in feeling that way. You know, I think postpartum depression is a big conversation, but no one really talks about prepartum depression, and it's definitely a real thing. So that was the reality of the thick of my first trimester, and it did not turn around for me, honestly, until Christmas.
It's our first visit to the doctor.
What was that?
I said, we in here, and there's a baby in here.
I had already had my first doctor's appointment, so it was really beautiful because we got to, you know, hear the heartbeat and see this little bean in my belly with like this little flicker of a heartbeat. And, you know, that was really emotional and started to kind of put things in perspective for me. But really, I didn't start to get truly connected to what was happening within my body and just how much of a blessing that this is, despite how I was feeling, until Christmas. My mom got me the best gift ever. If you're pregnant or you know someone that is, this is honestly the best thing you can get them. It's this journal from Lovely Sprouts, and it comes in this box, and it literally changed the game for me because I started journaling about my experience and writing letters to my baby. So this is a journal where you like write letters to your child. It has places for you to put in pictures at each stage. And I literally started like writing like to my baby. Like it's, you know, this is the date and this is how big you are right now. And, you know, today I really, really wanted oranges all day long. And it makes me wonder if oranges are going to be one of your favorite foods one day. Like it really honestly started humanizing this life growing inside of me. And it wasn't until doing this that I really did get connected to this life and to this experience and realize like what I'm fighting for, because you really do from the very beginning start fighting for your child, you know, and pushing through the physical elements, the mental elements of everything. Like it's such an emotional and physical roller coaster, honestly. And this was so cleansing for me when I really felt so isolated and guilty in my emotions at first. This really helped me process them and realize like what I'm working for right now. And my words to this baby was, listen, I will fight for you if you fight for me. Like I know that we're not supposed to talk about you yet, but I'm too excited about you right now that I'm not gonna wait till 12 weeks because I'm fighting so hard for you. So I'm not gonna quit. You're not allowed to quit. You need to keep growing because I need you to get big and strong because I cannot wait to hold you. And so for me, that's really what this did, was it allowed me to get really excited. And now that I'm over the hump of those feelings, like I'm just genuinely so ready. And it really is true what they say. It's like you get over the pain or you get over the heavy parts and it just becomes irrelevant because, you know, you go to the ultrasound and you see the legs kick for the first time, or you see it developing more, or, you know, you get this blood test and you get to find out what you're having, and just all of a sudden you're just like, oh my gosh, and you're literally connected to each other, and it's just genuinely so surreal. So for me, like this first trimester of this baby has already taught me so much about womanhood and love. And honestly, like I just feel emotionally so much more prepared for motherhood. And I really didn't expect this roller coaster of emotions, but that's genuinely, honestly what this was for me. And so if there's women out there that are like, you know, going through some of those isolating feelings and feeling guilty for feeling bad, I think sometimes we have to go through the rain to see the rainbow on the other side. And I definitely lived that. I definitely, you know, was not somebody that immediately embraced pregnancy and like loved every minute of it and, you know, was just grateful for the vomiting and the puke. Like, I can't say that that was me at all. I was not here for it. Not here for it. But I will tell you that the journey of it has definitely made me a better woman and really got me in touch with true love. Because I'm like, the more I feel like I'm getting to know this baby, the more I'm just like so excited and willing to deal with whatever lies ahead, you know? And the beauty of it is I'm coming to that realization right as the worst of it is ending. So it really just makes the rest of this super, super fun. But I'm excited to finally start to like be getting energy back, to start feeling like myself again, to start, you know, being able to feel creative at work again without it being so, so hard. And just like seeing the journey and the growth and the development. And the next step for us is finding out if we're having a boy or a girl, and I just can't freaking wait. So I think that's going to make it that much better, is when we know like who we're talking to, whether it's a boy or a girl, which we already have the names picked out. Stay tuned for that. So that's my first trimester in a nutshell. I'm sorry if it was a ramble. This is new for me, but we'll get better as we go on. This is the first. So if you have questions that you want me to answer, just drop them in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And of course, subscribe to my channel for more. And I'll see you guys really, really soon.